All right, we are live.
All right.
We are back.
Morning, everyone.
Rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. Doing last minute preparations here. Of course, this is a live simulcast of our audio recording. So don't expect any fancy video presentation.
That's right.
Although this week there will be some more added value to the video version because you have some visual aids, stuff behind you.
Oops.
When we get to that.
Okay, yes. So I ordered the clear and gray versus the chrome.
Mm-hmm. Talking about our keyboard orders for our clear 2E cases.
Right. One of the things that we will be talking to Mark Jositis with a special announcement for an upcoming Kickstarter that I will leave a mystery.
Oh, that hasn't been announced yet.
I don't think so.
We're breaking that news.
Breaking news, that's right.
A RetroMacCast exclusive.
Brought to you by your Macintosh news team. Live.
You're wearing your Kansas Vets t-shirt. Which vintage is that?
This is the. I think this may have been the first year I went. 2016. Does that sound right? Could be. Maybe the second one I went to.
Is there a significance to that block of hexadecimal code?
Yes, that was actually a program, a small program. I can't remember what it does at this point, but yes, it actually
maybe it's
did
a program that prints that hexadecimal out.
Is joining us as well as my friend Joe Blondie-Warren. Hello.
Let's see. Am I all set up and ready to go? We've got less than a minute. We're counting it down. Oh, hey, we got that whole thing. I forgot. Can I even do that thing?
Oh, that's right.
We'll do the countdown clip. That's right. You I
haven't done a
all right,
custom one yet. Yes.
Well, we're going to continue to annoy everybody with the generic one here. And we'll even do it to the Well, it counted down. That must mean we're ready. Are you ready, John?
I am as ready as I'm going to be. Daylight savings is kicking my butt this year.
Here we go. Let's count it down in 3.
Let's do it.
2, 1.
Happy New... Oh, wait. No, that's not it. Sorry.
I was actually going to start recording there, but you got something else in mind. All right. Let's try it again. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the RetroMacCast with James and John. This is episode 563 for March 14th, 2021. Good morning, John.
Good morning, James.
I'm back. After a couple of weeks, I was under the weather. Thanks to you, John, for filling in on the fly. I mean, I think it was the night before I told you I was.
Yeah.
I was hoping I'd be better, and then I'm kind of miserable. So, good thing Ron was able to sit in for the whole episode.
Yeah. It was a good talk.
Well.
Yeah.
So and then we were off last week, yeah?
Right, I was going to say, so far we're not doing Macintosh, or Mac, oh my gosh.
Macintosh,
yes. Thank you. Very well. We skipped the first 2 weeks. And then instead of working on Macintosh projects, I spent my entire weekend working on my Apple IIe instead. So, yeah. But I
did have a
will
little
be
project.
having to do an Macintosh thing because my SE30 is no longer working.
I think your next Marchandise project needs to be figuring out why you're getting the little clicking, popping
Oh
coming through
no,
your audio.
is that happening again? Am I talking too
Yeah,
loud? Let me
I
back
don't.
this away.
Um, try talking now. Let's
All
see.
right, I'm going to talk now.
Yeah.
Still doing it?
Yes. I don't think it's. I think it's independent of your volume. I don't know what's happening there.
Okay.
Well, we'll figure that
Maybe it's
out
time to
offline. I
upgrade
don't.
to a yeah. Maybe it's time to get a new microphone. Hmm.
Mm.
Hmm.
Well, I've been doing a bit of a Marcintosh project. Got a. I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast about a friend had a Olympus digital camera, like one of these. I don't know, it was a C820L or something. Um, old digital camera that had a bunch of old family photos that were never exported, and so they've been trapped on there for I don't know 20 years or so. So he said, "Hey, do you think you can get these pictures off this camera?" Like, if I can't, nobody can. I mean, I've got every single Mac. There's got to be a Mac here that I can use. So um, I'm starting to prove out that I can't, but I'm getting closer. I think I got the last piece today, but it caused I think I broke out about 4 different old Macs to get the right combination of software and hardware that I needed. And on that journey, it resulted in the knowledge that I could not directly network a Big Sur Mac with OS 9. Um, I started to do it, and then I looked up, find out why isn't this working, and said, well, why isn't it? Because it no longer supports it. But I was able to network it from within Big Sur using a virtualized Snow Leopard in VMware.
Which is
So
that's some crazy hoops you had to go through.
yeah, but gosh, it was so satisfying that I was able to jump through those hoops and make it happen. And then there were still, weird things like it won't copy certain files. You got to shorten the file names, and there's all kinds of weird little hiccups like that. But um, I got it working. So that was my little mini Marcintosh program. Our project was getting the old beige 3 G3, the beige G3 desktop tower actually networked
Nice.
in. So, all right, let's see. So we got coming up on the show. We have some eBay finds, and we've got Mark from MacFX to make a big announcement, and then we'll at the same time we'll look at John's 2E, his Clear 2E case set up behind him and ready for a demo. So we will be right back with some eBay finds. Okay, and let's get on with
Klaus.
that.
Hello, Klaus.
All right, whenever you're ready.
Hang on one moment. Bringing them up. Oh, okay. So Klaus says I apologize if I'm saying that name wrong. I say that anyway. USB microphone. Yes, it is a USB microphone. Kind of sounds like the known USB crackle. I have not heard of that. Have you?
It's not known to me.
Okay.
Is that something that can be resolved?
I will look that up after this to see if there's something I can do. Oh, and hello, Chris. Okay, I am bringing up the eBay finds. Here we go. All right.
You can see my my background's a bit of a mess. People are scrutinizing my room. I've been trying to make sense of my storage of my excess supplies and computers. I got shelving in that little attic space. Remember the attic space?
Yeah.
So I got that narrow place lined with shelves now, and I'm got bins of miscellaneous parts and things. You're trying to. I've got so much junk now that I have to have a separate bin for each variant of USB now. That's kind of what's going on back there. And then Anyway, let's get on with it. Let's go to eBay. Let's go in 3, 2, 1. Time now for the eBay finds. Last week, Ron and John talked about this original Mac with the Kensington System Saver, some kind of SCSI external hard drive. Got a missing key on it. That one sold after 17 bids for $110.50. And then the Thunderscan. This is the one without the creepy imagery, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No creepy mime on that box.
The Thunderscan still available. Buy it now, $85. And then what else we have? Oh, those the gears, gears.
Replacement gears for the
Yeah, for your floppy drive. Now tell me, I didn't read up on this. Were these like 3D printed? How are these made?
Yeah. Those look like they were probably resin 3D printed. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Those are still available. Buy it now. $26.70 for the set of 4. Okay. If you've got a 20th anniversary Mac and you have one, what is the status of yours?
It is right there. It is all set up and it is awesome.
It is awesome. Did it come with the Experience CD?
It did not.
I
have not fully experienced my 20th
I guess not.
Macintosh because I don't have that.
Well, you are missing out.
If you want to fully experience, going off of this price, I will continue to miss out.
Well, there is a make an offer, but they do want to buy it now of $195 for the very rare collectible Apple 20th anniversary Macintosh Experience CD. Rare, one of a kind. Well, I don't know if it's one of a kind. There's probably several copies of these running around.
Especially since they were selling more than one at one point.
From March 1997, they say the CD works. Now, the question is, there's the question. It's in the listing right there. Do you have a rare collectible 20th anniversary Mac? If you do, you deserve to add the CD to your collection. Okay, that's the question. No, the question I have is does this has the image been uploaded of this on Macintosh Garden?
I am looking right now while we talk.
Yeah. Were you looking before I said that?
No.
Oh,
okay. I'm trying to bring up Macintosh Garden right now.
Yeah.
It's very slow loading for some reason.
Oh. Well, that'd be something because I have this CD. It did come with my TAM, but I don't think I ever got around to turning it on. With all these old Macs, you think it'd be an easy thing for me to pop that into a drive and see what's on that. But if you've got the image, I don't even have to bother with that. But anyway,
I'm wondering if Macintosh Garden is down right now.
I'm curious what kind of cool things on here. If it has like behind the scenes making of, maybe there's an appearance by Johnny Ive. I mean, who knows? There's some cool stuff on here. So we'll have to do a follow-up on that. The cool thing is this CD even works on Windows. Can you believe that?
Oh, well, because it's probably just movie files, correct? I'm sounding?
QuickTime.
Sounds like. Yeah.
Yeah, they use this QuickTime, so probably movie files. Actually, we're on a 68040, and there's a little installation. If you don't find the image, I will. You have to create one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So there it is. All right, let's move on.
All right, next up we have it is a launch day Apple iMac G3 233 megahertz Rev A Bondi Blue. I can't remember which one's the correct print. Bondi, thank you.
We spent a lot of time figuring that out, and then we forget.
Holy cow. With box accessories and more. So looking at the box, this looks like it's in not bad shape considering how old it is, and it's still weird to say that the iMac is old.
Isn't it though? To think about that, because when we started this podcast, this is only a few years old.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, less than 10
It
anyway.
It is now thoroughly in the retro category.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. So what we've got here is it's an iMac G3 original keyboard and mouse, Apple Pro mouse with box, set of 9 Apple Service disks with 922 and Mac OS 10 10.1.4 software restore and World Book. It has a sealed copy of Macworld December 1998 with the cover, disk, and Global Village connection modem, and a Mac Ally powered USB hub. So everything has been tested and in good working order, and overall the iMac is in good condition with just a bit of wear here and there. $349 is the opening bid. It does have a make an offer. There's no buy now option on this. And shipping on this to us from North Sioux City, South Dakota would be $111.50. I would. All right, so are you familiar with the problem that people are having with the early iMacs and the gray plastic that's underneath the translucent plastic?
Is it getting brittle?
It's getting brittle. It's like getting crazy brittle. So another one of the old Macs. If you collect these things, you need to start. Don't pull it by its handle. And whoever does buy this, I hope that the shipping goes well for them.
I know those clear power cords are starting to get kind of gummy.
Yeah.
It's too bad. Different kind of plastic, I guess, than like the beige and black ones that don't seem to get that characteristic. Kind of, I don't know, to think that these are going to be possibly collectible. Now, there were obviously probably way more of these made than the original Mac.
Yeah.
But this represents a significant shift
$49
in generation.
And again, that doesn't mean anyone's going to bid on it. That's just what they're hoping to get.
Right. Right. But this is a beautiful shape.
It is,
box, you know. I mean, now's the time, if any, to grab one of these before it's too late, before they all get disposed or the collectors among us hoard them up. Okay, let's
what is our last
shift
one?
To this. The title is Apple Macintosh SEM5010 restored with HDMI. Super rare.
So I'm guessing they're playing a tongue-in-cheek on the super rare on this. I don't think they're taking themselves too seriously with this one.
Well, it was gutted and replaced with an HD screen and HDMI input. So simply power on with the included power supply cable and plug any modern day video or computer into it and impress your friends. So, there is no SE30. It's
right.
simply a monitor.
Okay, I had not seen the picture of the back of this at first.
Let's look at that.
Yes, please.
What's going on there? Looks like there was.
You go a couple over. There's a close up of that. There you go.
That picture.
Yep. Yeah. The hot glue.
For the power supply. What's the USB? What's that one for? It says power on it.
Okay, so that's the bonus secret I think on here. When you place a floppy disk into the machine.
Yeah.
It sends an OSC message out, which can trigger many different types of software.
Huh. What?
That is the intriguing part. That I want to know about. That is because first of all, that screen is too big and so unless there's a way to go in and adjust your video, you can see that you can't even really see the menus because it's off screen.
Right.
They could have probably gone with a slightly smaller monitor for this.
Yeah. It didn't exactly fit. This is a bit of a kludge, but it's also kind of a mystery. Yeah.
Starting mid $50.
Right. And the case is in great shape.
The case is in great shape. It would, it might be fun to get this and, try to clean it up a bit, perhaps. For us, it would be $30 shipping. Now, if they buy it now, price of $400 is a bit silly, but, I'm sure, I could see if this doesn't really go, I could see putting in a bid for $50 and getting this.
Yeah, if only to figure out. So the USB, they show it plugged into a power adapter,
Right.
and then there's an Ethernet port on there. So
where's
anyway,
the Ethernet port? Oh yeah, I see it. Okay. Yeah.
With the IP
Weird.
address, teensy computer.
Weird,
so
weird,
there's
weird.
something.
So there's
got to
be
just
something
a monitor
in there.
there. Yeah, there is something in there.
Well, which is probably whatever it is that's helping launch software is my guess.
Yeah. When you put a floppy disk in the machine, so but I mean, what if you look at the front?
Right.
And there's no flop. I mean, obviously there's no power to the floppy disk. So if you put a floppy disk in the machine, is it going to grab it and not give it back? Yeah.
Either that or it's just you. I don't know. That is the intriguing part.
I don't know. None of the pictures show the floppy disk in the machine, do they?
No, I really wish they showed an inside picture so we could kind of suss out what it is they are talking about.
Yeah. All right. And whatever it's doing, how would you even control it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Bunch of questions. More questions than answers for this one.
We have questions.
If you want to get your questions answered, you can put a starting bid on this one, $49.95. This one ends in 5 days. All right.
So Macintosh Garden never opened. I did check Macintosh Repository. They do not have the disk. I also checked Internet Archive, and I do not see it on there. So if Macintosh Garden does not have it, then I would say
that's the best place.
Need to make an image.
Rectify that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right.
So I'm looking at some of the other stuff this guy is selling. I'm just looking at... he does have a couple of actual Apple things on here. He's got a very grungy looking 6360 and a very grungy looking Quadra 610. So I don't know where this person's getting their stuff from, but I'm guessing bottom of a bin in a garage, perhaps. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, we've got a few minutes here. Because you're expecting market.
Go ahead and do the
8:30?
news. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do the news. Let's switch over here. Let me grab something. And are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, let's go in 3, 2, 1. Okay, it's time for the news. Another Apple product is now, well, I don't know, would you say it's not retro, but I mean, it's been discontinued. It's not making it anymore, so it's on the path to being retro.
Yeah.
It's entered the family of speakers like the hi-fi and the powered speakers, all the other various Apple speakers that have preceded it. The HomePod has been discontinued.
Now I'm sure you probably have one of these, don't you?
I have a pair.
Okay.
And when I had the single one, it was fine. When I got the pair, it was, oh my gosh, that's
really,
the sum is greater than the individual parts. Once you pair them, and then when they updated them, so they did the full 3D positional sound. It's quite something what comes out of those. So I'm wondering, is there going to be a new version? Or are they just done? Are they just sticking with the HomePod Mini, which I hear is also pretty awesome. So we'll find out. Apparently, well, we don't have an official announcement, but the thought is that there's still going to be a March event that Apple will participate in March, or what do I say, Marcintosh, and maybe we'll hear more about the HomePod. It is Marcintosh.
It is,
and as part of that, there's been a lot of things that are coming out. Did you see this video from RetroBytes?
No, I didn't see this one.
Is this the most obscure Apple product? And they run down a list. I think somebody posted in the Facebook group, the Vintage Macintosh Enthusiasts Facebook group, asking people what they thought the most obscure product. I think the interactive TV box is what's on that cover there, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would you say?
I would agree on that, certainly.
Yeah.
Because even their failures are still fairly well known. You know, the Lisa, the Macintosh TV, that sort of thing.
Right. Well, does obscure mean people don't know about it, or that they're just hard to come by?
I thought most people don't know about it. Is I guess what I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And also on YouTube, you remember, was it Jonathan Reeks? I think he was the gentleman that composed many of the startup sounds for Macintosh throughout the years, and he was featured in Welcome to Macintosh. And there's a number of videos out there on YouTube about him talking about the history of those sounds, how he came to make them, and tying in facts about the lawsuit, right? The Sosumi and all that stuff with the Beatles. Right. And so there's a new video put out by CNBC Make It called How a Lawsuit Inspired Apple's Most Iconic Sounds, where he sits down at the piano and goes through some of that again. So
I need to listen to this because that guy is a character. Holy cow.
He is a character.
He is a character.
He's got some great stories. And so I will listen to that video. John and I were trying to remember, did we have him on this show? I don't think we did.
Okay.
I don't know. I'll have to look it up. We've talked
up many times.
Yeah. Right. So that's out there. And just a quick reminder that it is Marcintosh. You use the hashtag Marcintosh if you've got a Macintosh project going on. And you can go over to Marcintosh.com.
Well, I see we have Frank on deck.
Frank is on deck. And
so he sees us.
So we're still waiting for Mark. We can add Frank to the chat to the room.
Let's do it.
If he's ready. Looks like he's ready. He's
Frank,
there.
you set?
All right, we're going to add him to the stream.
Hi.
Hey,
there he is.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hey, Frank.
Hey.
We're waiting for Mark, I guess, your colleague. So we'll suck up some time here until he arrives.
Yeah, we have not mentioned exactly. I don't think we mentioned what you're coming on the show for, but I'm very excited about what you're coming on the show for.
We'll hold off until we do the official part of the recording.
So while we're waiting, then let me just go ahead and show.
Well, speaking while we're waiting. Did you see that somebody commented that low USB power might be the culprit there in your?
All right, so you mentioned that, and I do actually have this plugged into a non-powered hub, which is something that occurred to me when Klaus mentioned that. So I am betting that is the case. But
is that a switch in your setup though, or have you always had it like that?
No, it is. I think it is a switch because I was using one of the back USB ports for something else that needed more power. So I bet. That is why.
Can you? Is it possible to fix that?
Switch it right now. Let's go ahead and give it a try.
Yeah, sorry, John.
Please stand by.
You're excited. But it's a little more annoying because you don't hear it. We hear it. We're all here. We're trying to resolve some technical problems here. Frank, where are you calling in from?
Outside of Chicago.
Oh, okay. So you're at least in the same time zone as us. But of course, we're all up an hour earlier anyway.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna see John is gonna plug in and re-plug in some mics to help. It's nice to have a live tech support in here as we're streaming this stuff. We can just crowdsource our technical difficulty answers. All right, I see Mark. I'm going to bring him on. There he is.
Hello.
Hey.
Howdy.
This is the first time we've seen one another. We've had John for the audio. Now we got this new wrinkle. John is figuring out, I don't know if you were listening. He's trying to figure out his popping microphone.
Issues, huh?
Can you guys hear me?
Hello.
Hello.
We're still getting that issue.
You still getting the pop? Ah, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what else could be.
We'll circle back to that.
Right.
We'll suffer through it. All right. Well, let's go ahead and hit record.
All right.
And John, I'll just cue to you. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. In 3, 2, 1.
All right. Hang on. All right, here we go.
Oh, John is still. All right. Go ahead, John. What's going on?
All right,
Who do we
guys.
have?
I can't hear you now.
Oh.
All right.
We're having more
That's okay.
problems.
If it's okay. If I'm recording, I can't hear you guys. So I'm going to just not record. James, you got the recording, correct?
I've got the recording. All right.
All right.
Here we go.
Good.
Wait. Let me restart.
Sure thing.
Here we go. All right. We'll figure this out in 3, 2, 1.
All right. So, Frank, Mark, thank you so much for joining us very early on a Sunday morning. First of all, I will show off what we are talking about, and that is one of the things we're talking about. So, love this case, Mark. Great
Look at that.
job. I've got.
He's showing
nice
for the audio audience.
LED
He's got
strip
his. I'll have to narrate to help them.
Yes.
He's got his clear case, Mac Effects Apple IIe case, with his own lighting solution.
Yes.
Right.
I like that very much. That kind of got a nice glow to it.
Oh yeah.
And then
if we turned off the lights, I think it would be even more awesome. But
printing some new backplates for it to replace the brown ones. I've got some very nice vibrant green ones that I'll be replacing it with. 3D printed. You can find those the shapes on Thingiverse. They were done by Option 8 Charles Mangan.
Show the box really quick.
Podcast. Oh yes, yes.
A lot of care went into the
again
box.
the detail that you did, Mark, on getting the box and everything. Again, fantastic job.
Very, of course, inspired by the original boxes for.
So is that your hand, Mark?
No. Actually, a person named Javier Riviera from the
yes.
Apple II,
Yeah.
He designed the box. Originally, I was going
fantastic.
I was going to go with a brown box and the molded foam, but I thought about it. I'm like, it'd be really cool to create this, and so I reached out to him because he did some real great design work.
Oh yeah, Javier is awesome.
And I said, you know what? And actually, the hand is just a rip off from the hand in the. We just took the hand.
Okay.
And
nice.
And put it
You
in
mean
there.
You didn't try to track down the original hand model?
No. We couldn't find the original.
Well, I'm a little
much
disappointed.
older hand with liver spots
right.
and
That would have been fun to age. You should have aged the hand a little bit.
Done it in sepia tone.
Yeah.
No. All right. So So of course the other thing before we talk to Frank is I want to talk about your other Kickstarter that you have that goes so well with this one, and that is for the clear keyboard that you're doing. You're doing a brand new keyboard with new cherry switches. What are the switches you're using? I can't remember.
They're Alps.
Alps. Yeah.
Tactile, and they're clicky, mechanical switches. And that's the one. And people seem to like it. I mean, you get kind of this thing with keyboard people that why didn't you go with cherry brown, or why didn't you go in it? And you could spend forever. I did add a linear option for linear switches because I was trying, which is kind of like a do-it-yourself, just solder in. Everything is through hole, so the people could do that. And Frank's a lot to credit with that. And
Nice,
for me, I thought, well, most everybody's going to want a vintage feel, and back then everybody knows it was kind of tactile and clicky. And so this keyboard really fits the bill. But yeah, it doesn't solve everybody, and only one person backed the linear switch option. So obviously, that
right. All I know is I'm looking forward to something with newer keys, because when I got this one set up, I had to press the G and the H key several hundred times before they started working again. It's a common problem with these keyboards. If they've been sitting for a while, is you will end up with keys that you have to just sit there and just type the heck out of them before they start working again. So yeah, fantastic. And James, I did check. It is the chrome and clear that I do have backing on that. So
yeah.
All right. So I do know there were also a couple of stretch goals for a clear.
First, before you pass through that, what are before you get to the stretch goals? What are the? Let's talk about the variants that are available under the base backing.
Oh yeah. Okay. Mark, you want to?
Yeah, so right now, I don't remember the exact pricing on it, but I know that there's the very basic one. I think is kind of I don't remember the Pantone color. I think is like a warm gray, right? And so it's a more modern twist on like the original thing, because I changed the metal base plate to be kind of a like a brighter gray, brighter tanny color. So I try to modernize it a little bit, and that color kind of goes with that, because there were different variations of colors of the original keyboard, and a lot of people didn't like some of the colors that were on the original keyboard, so that was an option there. And then the transparent with keycaps with black powder coated frames, and then there was I think a DIY option for if you wanted linear switches. And that, like I said, that proved to be not very popular so far. And then there's a whole bunch of different like variety packs and stuff. But one of the unique things is that we have is a black case with black keyboard, black metal base plate, black Apple logo, the black everything, right? It's kind of a midnight black kind of thing.
Nice.
That's just a special option for those that really wanted, something custom. And having had a Bell and Howell Apple II, I thought that would be a fun little one to do. So I think, and then there's just different tiers for, some people had backed on the original Apple IIe clear case Kickstarter, they had backed the cases that had, like the 10-pack of cases, because some of us are a little more excited about it than others. So, so there's an option for, I think, everybody that backed the first one in the same quantities. So
very nice.
Awesome. And so the stretch goal, really cool. What's that?
Yeah. So we've met the first one. So I've already started the production process for the Clear Disc 2 drive covers, and working on I'm thus far only producing 100, because I think we're going to reach the one for the polycarbonate option, which is going to be much stronger. I mean, obviously it's superior to, it's acrylic's going to scratch less, but it's not as strong as polycarbonate. I think polycarbonate is great. And if we reach that, I got a couple of surprise goals. I don't want to review that just yet, but there are some really cool things that if we go past that are going to be much higher, I think that people will really enjoy.
Fantastic. That is great.
And the original Kickstarter went very well, very smooth. We had a lot of COVID logistics. People may not remember, pre-COVID world, but it was started, I think, just before the lockdowns and everything like that. And we didn't know all the logistical problems that we were going to have, and that's why it took so long. And then ended up the ship broke down on the way from China and had to divert back to Japan, which meant it missed the train when it came to America. So production compared to the SC30 project, production was smooth and wonderful. So that was great. But the keyboard project is going very well, and we're on track to meet the goal. And everything with that went it's thus far we've gone through prototyping, and I've tried the different various things, and that's where I want to introduce Frank, because Frank he designed the layout and the logic for the keyboard. And we had some issues with they don't make a locking switch anymore like they used to, so we kind of had to play with that a little bit. And Frank is actually really great. He's worked at some amazing companies and done some really fantastic projects. He worked for companies like SpaceX doing FPGA. So it's great that we have him on board for this.
Nice.
And there's a little project that I think he might want to touch on too, that I think will appeal to the Mac guys. For some of you, I've got some messages. Why aren't you doing more Mac stuff? Your Mac effects. What is this Apple stuff? I get it. I get it. But I listen to the surveys, right? So when people do the surveys, I do the things to say, what would you like to see next? Mm-hmm. So I listen, and whatever the majority says, that's the next project. So, but there's a Mac project coming, and it will relate to the SE30. And, Frank's been working diligently. Like I said, I'll let him talk about that. And for those of you that are interested in maybe designing your own hardware, Frank just has a new book that came out. I pre-ordered it. I have it. I don't have it in front of me here, but it's actually good. I'm a couple chapters in. So, but I'd like to let Frank go ahead and talk a little bit about the keyboard project, and then kind of our new project, if it were.
Morning, Frank.
Hi. Well, thanks, Mark. I forget. We met probably about a year ago when COVID started, and Mark was working on the keyboard, needed a keyboard design, and he kind of pushed me because I'm a FPGA design engineer, so I only work with bits and tiny devices, and never did a PCB before, and he kind of pushed me to do it, and so I helped him out with that, and I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. Looks pretty good. As far as the new project goes, again, I am an HDL FPGA engineer, and so Mark had approached me with the idea of taking one of the old display adapters for the Mac SE, the Micron Exceed, one of the versions of Micron Exceed, and so I've taken all the PAL equations and everything from the documentation that we found and re-implemented it in an FPGA. And it's right now, the plan is to come out with sort of a carrier board that would fit inside the Mac SE30 slot, which would have an FPGA daughter card that you can buy, or maybe Mark will supply them. I'm not sure how he wants to do that. But it's a fairly, there's two options. One is a moderately sized device, which is more than enough to implement the graphics. And then there's a much larger device. And the idea is that you can basically create just about any card that could fit into a Mac SE30 with it, because it brings out all the interface connections, so you could emulate up to, I guess emulation is not really the right word, but you could be up to 3 devices is what the Mac SE30 slot supports. So you can decode the addresses and do whatever you want for that.
So you could actually have one that's not only doing the, I'm sure all our listeners know, but the Exceed card, one of the big things about it is it gives you true grayscale on the internal monitor of the SE30, which... especially if you've got, something where you've got the newer ROM, so you can run 8.1 and stuff like that. It really makes a huge difference. But are you saying besides that, you would also be able to implement Ethernet as well on the same card? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, so that's a possibility. I think with the first generation, I guess it depends on how things go, because we need to prototype it. And so there's sort of been trying to come up with the best word for it. Trying to be risk averse in this, because with the keyboard project, we were able to do all through hole technology, so it was very easy to assemble. But when you get into modern FPGA electronics and things, you're talking VGA parts, So the assembly costs go way up and the risk goes way up because there's a lot of decoupling capacitors that have to be added all over the thing, and they have to be in certain places, and that's far beyond any skills that I've got for board design. So the first generation would probably just be the Exceed card, which could do the grayscale with the neck board, which I think Mark either has or has the ability to replicate. And it also have probably a standard VGA output also, so you could run a color monitor off of it too. So probably the first prototyping boards, you could do just about any version of the Exceed card or any graphics adapter that would have. I'm not that familiar with the Mac SE, so I don't know what it had in the day. But if there was a graphics adapter available, you should be able to pretty much do that. I think I do have longer term plans in the sense that nowadays FPGAs have become much more complex. And so now you can buy these SoC parts, which have ARM processors inside and built-in Ethernet, USB, just about everything. Mm-hmm. And so my thought is the next generation, once we prove this out, we show that it can be done, and actually bite the bullet and put the FPGA directly onto the card. That would open up the ability to put one of these parts on, which would then open up, adding Ethernet, adding storage, mass storage. I think there's a SATA connection on these things, so you could add like a SATA drive. You have Bluetooth. You could have just about anything. And also one idea that Mark had, which I've put on also, is, and this is more of an experimental feature at this point, is Adb Pass Through. And so one of the ideas behind that is you can plug your keyboard and mouse in through the card. And so the card could intercept keystrokes. So if you wanted to, say you're running the Exceed board and you wanted to, say, double tap the shift key or something, and it brings up a menu, and now it hijacks the keyboard so you can change options on the device. And I think that becomes even more powerful because when you get into these SoC parts, now you've really got a computer that's going to be tens or hundreds of times more powerful than the computer it's sitting inside on the card. And you could do all kinds of things like run hardware VNC and remote access into your Mac just through this FPGA board. So it opens up a ton of possibilities. And of course, making as much or all of this open source so that people can add on to it and, expand it, I think is really going to make this shine.
Mm-hmm. That's some exciting stuff. I'm looking forward to seeing where who does what with it and where that goes. Because I would love to be able to VNC into my SE30. That'd be pretty awesome. Very cool, guys. You guys are just doing some killer cool stuff, I have to say.
So when do you think you mentioned this first prototype? Do you have any kind of rough timeline, and when you think you're going to have something?
Yeah, it's so. I've been sort of dragging my feet a bit. The HDL is all done. So actually, I should probably get that committed into GitHub at any point if somebody wanted to take a look at it. I've just been worried about the costs and we did a lot of spins for the keyboard and this is a more complex project. And so I worry about the cost a bit. So I've been sort of dragging my feet because there are some obstacles to overcome. The modern day technology doesn't play so well with 5-volt signaling. So you have to put in level shifters, level translators. And even though the buses are slow, there's still risks that things don't work the first time and we'll have to spin it a few times. But I've got the whole thing built in Vivado, which is the Xilinx tool flow for the FPGA. It's really a matter of doing the board. I guess I think I should really push myself. I just got over COVID myself just this past week. Basically, it was a relatively mild version of it, but it took me out for about a week. So probably within the next month or so, especially if I push Mark to push me to stop letting me take my time. That would be to get the board done and but then I'm sure Mark's better in terms of how long it would take to actually turn it into a real product that could be sold. Maybe you could talk to that.
And so, other than this opportunity here that you have to talk about this, are there other ways you're going to be kind of updating the community? So if people want to follow the progress, or we just kind of wait till the next milestone, or how will you publicize your activity?
I don't know if Mark wants to speak to that. I mean, this was a lot of Mark's initial doing, and I've just sort of picked up the FPGA side. So I think he's a much better manager / marketing person than I am. I'm just an engineer. So,
well, we do stay active on various different Mac Facebook groups, 68KMLA, and different stuff like that. And at this point, so we're just waiting. Once we have the first working prototype out, then I think we'll have a more solid timeline. I think, as Frank mentioned, these things take iterations, and to go along with it. And I think the most exciting thing, as Frank mentioned, is that the opportunities this opens up. The board itself may have all these features, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, all that, and because it's open source, really, the only thing preventing things is just people coming in with the software skills to say, okay, well, let me work on a driver to make things communicate, right? So that was a key why it's open source, is that we wanted to make sure that everybody can get in and say, okay, we'll make the product, available, but everybody can be able to add to it and use their skills in the way that that they want to do that. But I would assume once we have a working prototype, I would think, and we're probably going to do a Kickstarter on that just to get the first batch of production going. And I would guess within a month of having a working prototype, that would be live. But I mean, it's just a matter of time. As soon as that working first prototype comes out, we'll be full steam ahead, I think. So.
Well, great.
Fantastic. Mark, one last question for you. So you do you still have? Are you selling the SE30 cases? Are you doing another Kickstarter, or are there some available?
There's some available. There's some available on the on our site, maceffects.com, and I actually think we sold the vast majority of them, believe it or not. I think there's probably about 40 cases left, and depending on the interest, might do another batch if it coincides with another shipment of, something else, like when we brought the, 2-week case, if I happen to do another, and believe me, I have no shortage of project, ideas. It's just a matter of, finding things, and, everybody in the community has told me, like the, Mac TV Performa LC 500 series, all the front bezels all break in shipping, which I'm sure we all know, and a couple other Macs like that, right? The problem with doing those, and I would love to do those, I'd love to do a whole case for those, is that the people who happen to have a broken one at that very point in time and would be willing to back a project, it's not exactly, because something that large is even larger than the SE30, right? So, but I do have plenty of. I'm keeping things open. I'm prototyping. Thanks to Adrian. You might have met. He's in Australia. He's like one of the largest collectors there. I think he was on RetroMacCast a long time ago.
Right.
And so he's helping me because I can't find a iMac inner bezel. I don't know if they have a terrible tendency to kind of crack, and
we were just talking about that on this podcast earlier today, because of one of the Apple one of the eBay auctions, how that inner gray bezel is starting to get very, very, very brittle.
Yeah, so he happened to have one outside of a Mac, because the 3 that I've taken apart to remove them that have been in good shape visibly, by the time I take them apart, they crumbled to dust and there's nothing left. And the iMac's one of my personal favorites, so that's kind of a little personal vendetta I have to bring that one. But there are many, many projects, and many I won't bring up here, but for you Mac folks, don't worry. There's plenty of Mac projects hiding behind these Apple IIs. Okay.
Well, as somebody who was a fan of both the original Apple IIs and the Macs, I have to say thanks again.
All right. I'm just going to end the audio recording right there.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any questions out there from the audience.
Yeah, I like Scarlet Swordfish said, third generation of the card is recreate the entire SC30 on an FPGA.
That's actually something that there's actually what's it called? The Mister project, which does retro computing. Mm-hmm. They have a Mac Plus, and this is actually something Mark's involved with also, is some of I think it's the glue chip, is like one undocumented chip inside of the SC30 that we just don't know exactly what's in it at this point. It's one of the things that's preventing it from being, actually implemented in FPGA. Otherwise, it should be perfectly possible to do that now.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's big things on the horizon, and as FPGA, becomes more affordable, and people, very knowledgeable people like Frank step in on things. It brings us a whole new world of opportunities that we can do, and that's it. There's just a few things on, like the SE30 that are just kind of you don't know, and companies in China will do all the processes for you, but you're looking at, for one chip, like one of them was like the BBU. I think I got a quote for $25,000 to reverse engineer and put it into code that like Frank would be able to use. And that's kind of a hang up, right? But I guess as time marches on and more SE30s, die from the battery or the capacitors, then maybe it makes sense. But, right now we're not quite there yet, but there's a big, bright future with talented people like Frank and the community who backs projects. So we're along for the ride.
Awesome. Well, thanks guys for joining us. Yeah. And we'll certainly have to get back together when you got like a milestone to discuss, like the prototype or the beginning of the Kickstarter.
Yeah, we'll definitely once we get a working prototype, we'll reach out and
all right,
have a little chat about the finalization. So
fantastic,
cool.
I appreciate you taking time to talk over this morning.
Yep. Well, thanks for having us.
Right.
Thanks.
Take care. Glad you're feeling better, Frank.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Nice. That was great. I am excited.
All right.
The Exceed board, that's going to be some killer stuff to be able to add to an SC30.
The one thing I keep thinking about is just the monitor situation.
Right.
And
well, being able to push video to a color external monitor.
Well, I'm talking about the internal monitor. Being able to have having a suitable replacement.
Well, no. The gray, it'll do grayscale as is. You just put.
Well, I know, but I don't want the tube.
Oh! I see what you're saying. So, if there's a way that card could push a small LCD screen,
right? Well, but that's the idea:
graphics,
is having a proper LCD screen
internally.
That's properly mates to the bezel, has the right resolution, or can scale properly to the original Mac resolution.
Sure.
Everything I've seen has been a bit of a kludge.
Right. Well, I mean, that brings up a good point. I mean, if they're going to do this and it's basically its own video card, it can push to an external monitor. If the external monitor can be pushed to a higher resolution, which I would guess it could, because I think it's like a actual dual monitor situation. You could do a 640 by 480 color graphics. That would be absolutely fine. Even if you have a monitor that's a higher resolution, so to speak, it'll still scale to down to 640 by 480, and I think it would still look pretty good. That's something that we could even test kind of now-ish with some old equipment and a small LCD monitor, because I've got some that are the right size to go into a compact Mac.
All right. Well, let's
Cool.
do the outro.
Yeah. So, what do you want to talk about next week?
I could track
Do you
down
want to talk about
that.
your trial and tribulations with your camera?
I kind of already did, didn't I?
Well, a little bit. Or have you got something
maybe
else
I
in
was gonna.
mind?
Well, if I can track down that TAM experience CD.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Bring
All
that
right.
up. Even show it here on the podcast. So let me one of those two things. All right. Let's go ahead and record the outro in 3, 2, 1. All right. Our thanks to Mark and Frank. Great to hear about their upcoming projects, their existing projects. So much going on. Really exciting what can be done today for the retro community with all this great accessible technology. Go on over to Kickstarter.com, look up Mac Effects, get yourself one of those keyboards. And if you don't already have the case, there are bundles, right? You can still get a case bundled with a keyboard. So you can get the whole thing and be ready to go. And all you do is, if you don't already have, is the innards of a 2E. Not too hard to come by. And let's see, next week, I might, a couple of things. We'll either talk about that TAM experience CD. What's on that thing?
Yeah.
Why isn't that online? Or I might go into a little more detail about the runaround I've been having to do trying to get the pictures off this old Olympus digital camera. The only way I talk about that is if it actually comes to a successful conclusion, which I'm hoping John has given me the last key to solving this puzzle. So one of those two things. All right. And anything else, John?
Nothing on my end. I'm
All
looking
right.
forward to, as soon as we're finished here, I'm playing some Choplifter. So that's
Shoplifter or Choplifter?
Choplifter. Yeah, Shoplifter is a very different game. I have to get my baggy pants on, and yeah. No, yes, Choplifter is.
All right, Choplifter, yes.
Yeah.
All right, well, until next week, remember, it's not old.
It's retro.
Keep talking. I think, is the popping gone away?
Is the pop? I don't know.
I don't hear it now. Hello? Just keep talking.
Hello.
Oh, it's there.
I don't know why you say goodbye. I say hello.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe a restart. Maybe mess around with it.
Yeah.
But there's no way. Unfortunately, there's no way. I don't. Since you're not hearing it, I don't know if
I
there's
don't
a way
hear
for
it.
you.
That's the sad thing. There's no way for me to test it on my own.
One thing we might try is you and I can just Skype together and see if I can just get it. If I'm getting it, if it is a hardware thing.
Oh yeah, Why don't we do that? As soon as we're finished with this, we'll get on Skype and see if we still hear the clicking. Because if not, then we know at least it's something to do with StreamYard.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, thanks everybody through everybody in the chat. We'll see you next week, hopefully.
All right. Bye, everyone.
All right, bye.
All right. Bam.
Oh.